Alright, so Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So thanks for the opportunity that has been given to me. So I am sitting here as the leader of opposition side of the house, and I'm going to react to the government side of the house. So our motion for tonight's debate is this house believe that formal education should be the main requirement of job requirement. But before that, I would like to rebut the arguments of the first speaker or the prime minister of the side of the house. She said that formal education will create a clean track record. Well, it's true. However, was it only a point that can only be reached by people who have through formal education? I will say no. People with non-formal education can also create a clean track record. How? Well, since it is a 4.0 industry era, all people can expose their self, their skill, what they're good at. They can create a good track record, ladies and gentlemen, and post it through social media. For example, they can post their informal test of TOEFL achievement, let's say, through the internet. It is also can be reached through a non-formal education. That's the point. And just so you know, the company might see your formal education certificate. However, they're looking through your skill more. They will test you first so that they will know whether you're relevant or not to join the job or the employment. So it's all just about formal situation, and upgrading your skill and quality as for the government side of the house said that formal education can upgrade your skill or experience. Well, upgrading your skill and quality isn't about joining formal education. It isn't about joining a university. It's about motivation and luck, because education also sits on your phone these days, so you don't need to to go to a university to get an education. You can also learn it from your phone, because it's a 4.0 industry era, ladies and gentlemen. And so you don't need to be concerned about formal education anymore. Not to mention about what the government also say earlier, that formal education can push you through an international interest. I would like to say that if you know Rich Brian, he is one of the example of talented people who doesn't finish his formal education but can make the world stare at him. I mean, the question is, do people care about his educational background? No, they don't. They care about his voice, his skill as a rapper, not his educational background, ladies and gentlemen. Now, come to my argument. I will explain why we as the opposition team clearly disagree with the motion, why we don't need formal education in order to get a job. So, firstly, my argument is school curriculum or education is not relevant to the world of employment. Why? We might say that school curriculum taught students to more of a theory than a practice. That's the reality. Whereas in the world of employment, soft skill is so much needed. Of course, there are practice of soft skills happening in the world of education, although not much, which had already been made by the government. Textually, the government plan was pretty good when they create such as MBKM program in university or SMK Bisa Hebat in vocational school, so that they can apply what the student have been taught in the campus or school to a real world employment experience. However, the reality is not running as it was planned. The number of unemployment is still rising, ladies and gentlemen. And ironically, the total percentage of unemployment in Indonesia mostly coming from people who have educational background. For example, like high school, vocational school, or university. And it is a high level grade of education, high school, vocational school, and university. It proves that formal education doesn't even more relevant in the world of employment. I'm not saying that we don't need to get education or formal education. I'm just saying that we don't need formal education just to get a job, because that's not the main purpose of education. In my humble opinion, the purpose of formal education or education in general is to shape your mindset, to make you become a rational person, not to make you a great employee of some big company. If you want to be one, get more experience. Experience is the best teacher. School doesn't always teach you experience. Alright, so that's all I can elaborate from my argument and reactions from the first speaker of the house. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.